welcome to Seriously Uncork Yourself. I am your host, Lynn, and this is a podcast that brings to you a firsthand look at what it seriously means to meet people where they are in their life. Enjoy the experience from illusions to reality. Find out what it is to restore to high performance, renew your freedoms, and rejuvenate playfulness. I can't wait to share with you my experience and the experiences of many others in hopes that you feel inspired to renew yourself and live your best life. Thanks for listening. Now let's get started. Okay, welcome. Today I am just so excited and honored to have my good friend Jacque Payne today as my special guest on my brand new podcast, Seriously Uncork Yourself. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about how to set your soul on fire. Before we get started though, I would just like to tell my audience and our audience today really on how I met Jacque. And as I go through my life, I truly don't believe in coincidences. I believe that when things happen, they happen for a reason. And I met Jacque back at an event. Oh my gosh. It has to be 6 years ago, I would say, at least, or maybe even longer. And we were standing outside waiting to get into this event, and there was 10,000 people at this event, and we were by each other. We were talking, and we got to know, and I could bet you 100 to 1 we probably did exchange like our names with each other and stuff like that. But as time goes, or wherever, we probably didn't have a pen, or maybe she had a card, I had a card, who knows? But we never contacted each other afterwards until we were at another event that was a little bit of a smaller event. And there she was, and I go, don't I know you? And she goes, I think I know you. And then here we were talking out of all those people, and then we met each other again. And since then, it's been just a great adventure with us two, and such a great journey that we do get to collaborate a lot with, different business, and knowing that we both, our families come first. We are very invested in our families, and we do have the same family values, which makes it even easier. And we just became very good friends. And Jacque considers herself a grandmapreneur. Is that how you say it? No, grandpreneur. That's it, grandpreneur. I was going to say it wrong. And she focuses on her network marketing business, and she enjoys working and helping people with fitness and bodybuilding. And she has 3 grown children, 12 grandchildren, and she also has a little girl at home, her granddaughter that they adopted. How cool is that? I mean, come on, that's a lot. Once your kids are grown and then you bring in another little one, it's just like, but she just loves it. She loves family, and she likes to, do camping and family activities. They like to travel together, dinners together, and she just is that person. And I just love her to death. And with all that said and done, Jacque, I'm so glad you're here. And also, I want to just mention, thank you so much for taking time out of that busy day to be on my podcast. And if you would, could you just add to that a little bit? Tell our viewers, or not viewers, tell our audience a little bit about what goes on in your life.
All right. Well, I want to first thank you, Lynn, for having me on here. I am so honored. And yes, I mean, the way we first met and then our paths came back together again, and now we've built this great relationship together, friendship, and being able to collaborate on different things has really been a blessing to my life. I just love you so much and appreciate everything you do, and just the time that we get to spend together. But, my passion really is, helping other people, whether it be, in their network marketing, or in their health and wellness or whatever. I mean, I love the bodybuilding arena. I've done one competition and just found that was just, although hard and a lot of work,
I bet.
it really pushed me over an edge that really was pretty gratifying for me. But I have been married 38 years to my husband, and like Lynn said, we have 3 grown kids and 12 grandkids. our grandkids, we've been involved in all of their lives, helping out at different times of their lives with keeping them. So it's been, I feel like I've actually had a part in every single one of their lives and watching them take their first steps, go to their first day of school. I mean, we've been that involved in their lives. And so it is a lot about family, and it's a lot about being very blessed to be able to work from home and be able to be able to bring all of the work and family together. And so I've been very blessed in that.
Oh, that is just amazing. And that's why I just love you so much too. And so, this topic today is how to set your soul on fire. And so, what does this mean?
Well, this really gets me excited
Okay.
because because it's been a question in my mind is, what is really my purpose? How do you figure out what your purpose is? And I've had this discussion with other people over the years, and I've delved in the personal development arena, and at times I've still been like, what is my purpose? Is it really just kids, and raising grandkids and being a mom and a grandma, and you know is that what really my life is about? Yes, I do network marketing. Yes, I've built, a great business and all of that. But what really is my purpose? And during this pandemic, with all the craziness going on, we our gyms had been shut down, and I was like, what do we do? And we started going to some of the fitness stores, and I found that when I would walk into a fitness, where the weights and the cardio machines, the um, whatever they're called, can't even think what they're all called. But anyway, my soul would light up.
Hmm.
And my soul lights up when my grandbabies come over, or when I'm, getting with a good friend. But this was different. And so I picked this topic because I think that a lot of times, especially as women, now there may be some men that, listen to this or whatever, but we get wrapped up in raising our kids, being a housewife, a mom, or, and a lot of times, career women, and we kind of lose what really sets our soul on fire and what, really we want to do. And coming from a lot, I started being a mom at 16. We adopted my first daughter, and so I never really had a chance to figure out, what does Jackie really want? What sets her soul on fire?
Hmm.
And so it was really like, to me, when I would walk into the fitness store, and I would be like, I never knew. It's like, I want to say it's like smelling really fresh flowers or something, that just that feeling you get or whatever.
Wow.
That's kind of a strange analogy probably,
No,
but it's
yeah.
like,
No.
it's just, but it just really, really set my soul on fire. And so therefore I started a group called the Healthy Confidence Club group here on Facebook, and just really enjoying, you know, um, giving value and just really getting to know what people in that arena are looking for. And so,
Mhm.
kind of a new space for me because I've not ever ran my own group at this, you know, I want to say magnitude. But, anyways, but it just really sets my soul on fire. So, every morning when I go live and I start talking about health and wellness, and, you know, it just really sets my soul on fire. So, I mean, your thing may be a hobby, it may be a different career or a career. If you're just getting started, it may be a goal or a dream. Who knows what really gets your heart to pumping? But when you step into that, what sets your soul on fire, then you really, when your heart starts beating, and you get excited, you know that you've found what sets your soul on fire.
That is so crazy. And that thought, and I'm laughing too while you're saying this about different, going into smelling the gym equipment, and I used to teach at the Y myself, and I never got that feeling though, Jackie, but I'm a bookaholic. I love, love, love books. Even though nowadays, I listen to a lot of audio too, right? But I love the feel of a book. I love the smell of the book. I mean, I just love, marking a book and taking notes. And I get the same thing when I walk into Barnes and Noble. Sorry, I'm not putting a plug in for Barnes and Noble, but I mean, it'd be the same thing as soon as I walk in there. And of course, I think a little bit with the coffee good smell going in the background. It was just like, oh man, this is I mean, I could just get lost in there for hours. And my husband hated it when I say to him, okay, honey, let's go ahead and stop at Barnes and Noble on the way home. He'd go, oh, geez, here we go again. I'm never going to get her out.
You
But
know,
I love it.
and I relate when it comes to going to the gym, because 2 or 3 hours can go by and I'll look at my clock and I can't believe that much time has gone
Yeah,
by. And
absolutely.
I mean, I'm in there pumping iron, I'm in there on the treadmill or on the stair stepper or whatever. The other thing is for me is when I'm in the gym, I don't really want to visit or anything. I am focused. It's my space. It's like, don't talk to me. I mean, I'm not saying I'm rude to people, but that's my space. And I just,
That zone, right?
yes, I'm in the zone and I just love it. It just, yeah.
And then I heard you talking, and I think this is so true with being mom, especially now that we're in the other phase. Now we're grandmoms, and I still think it's so true that a lot of times we leave our own desires to last. And I don't know if that's just, from the way we grew up. And, it was always, we had a, and we still do. I mean, we still put our family first and all those kind of things. But then now the older we get, it's just like, I think we start to realize that we really need to start putting some of our passions first, because how else are we going to pass that down to generations? And so, and I know that you're doing your Facebook group, and I think it's absolutely wonderful. What are some of the things that you can talk about? Like, what are you actually, how are you doing this? Like, how are you planning to do these things and still be the mom that you are, still be the grandmom you are, and you run a business, but yet you have these passions. So how do you intertwine that? How do you get them in your life?
Block scheduling.
Absolutely.
And that's the only way it can happen. Because, I mean, and you have to have on there, just like I have Kaya time on my block scheduling, and that's our daughter, that she's
Yeah.
11, and very grateful that she, enjoys doing her schoolwork right now. She's in the back doing her schoolwork because we're in homeschooling phase right now, with our state. And so she's, um, doing her thing. But, in the afternoon, I have a certain time where I'm like, okay, I have to put everything else down and it's Kaya time. And it's like, the same with in the mornings, I get up early and I go out and I do my walk, run, my exercise before she gets up, before anything. And there have been mornings I've gotten her up. She would rather not go for, an hour and a half work out with me. So it's like, okay, I respect that she's at an age now where I don't have to worry too much about it. But, it's like, but that's how you do it, Lynn, is you've got to have block scheduling, and have what you're doing every hour of the day in order to really get things done. I don't know what happened, how I did it before, but
Yeah.
I do know what I did is I let my workouts go. And
Mhm.
I let things go that I was passionate about while I was, taking care of grandkids and stuff. And now that I started this block scheduling, it's like a lifesaver.
I know. I love that. I think that's wonderful. And I do a lot of scheduling myself because I have to. Otherwise, and it's even especially when you do work at home, a lot of people think that's so much easier. But when you're away from the home and you go to work, people know you're at work, so they're not going to bother you. But if they know you're at home, and a lot of times with family too, it's just like, well, mom's at home. you know. And so it gets to be where well, this, I just say their appointments. So I tell the kids, well, between this and this
Mhm.
time I have an appointment, and this time I have an appointment, and I can move them around a lot of times, and a lot of times I won't move them around, because I have to respect, especially if it's with another person. I'm not going to expect them to change their time frame, once we set. And I'm pretty good when I set something in my schedule, I pretty much, stick to it. So I think that's really, really important. And
And
go ahead.
on that note, Lynn, it's just like this morning my son came by. I'd just gotten home from my workout. I was getting my breakfast ready, and he works out of town 2 weeks, and he just came back last night, so he stopped by, and he had texted my husband last night, wanted to go to breakfast. And I told my husband, I said, I have, my schedule already set up. And, there's times like you said, you can change things around.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm working on now in my life is my boundaries of my time. And if we have family day with them on Sundays, we always get together for family dinner. And, there's times when I can go to breakfast and it works out to go ahead and put that in my schedule. But it's so important to, remember that you've got to train your kids and sometimes your husband
Mm-hmm.
that, what you're doing at home is work, you know. So,
Absolutely. And so the other thing that I want to ask, and I know that with some of the things that I'm talking about in this new podcast that I'm doing, is we're doing a couple of things. We're restoring to high performance, which we're not going to talk about today. So you'll have to stay tuned for future podcasts on that one. And the other one is renewing freedoms, and that's another one we're not going to talk about today. So once again, you'll have to tune in for those. But today with Jackie, is we thought we'd really resonate and talk a little bit about rejuvenate playfulness and what this means. And this one to me it's simple, and it's the one where it's what do you do for yourself to do have enjoyment? Like, what do you really enjoy? And, maybe not just for yourself, but with your family. And, how do you bring that joy into your life? And what do you do that, like when you're laughing and you're loving completely in that present moment? So what are some of the tips that you could give our audience about what are some of the things that you do to be, still be joyful and still have fun and laugh and, do, just do things off the cuff too?
well, I like to do several things, but I mean, messing around, just playing around, whether it's with Kaya or the grandkids, or I mean, getting on the floor with AJ, my 18-month-old, because, my grandkids go from age 20 down to 18 months.
Mhm.
And getting on the floor with AJ and, pushing a car back and forth together, I mean, that brings, playfulness, joy to both of us,
Yep.
and just really getting down and playing with the kids, and they enjoy that. We play, do card games with Kaya. I've gotten out on the trampoline. Yes, at my age, I still will get out there. I'm not one that can get out there and do all the flips and stuff, but you know what? I can get out there and play around with the kids, get out there and do a little bit of chase or whatever. Something that I got recently too is I don't know if you've heard of the bouncers. They're like the mini trampolines that have the bar
Yeah.
on them.
Yeah.
And I just felt like that was something to bring the kid in me back out. So I can, because, I can hang on and jump and, be
Mhm.
safe. And I can do this, splits and all the different things. I just thought that would be fun. But something else that I've been talking about this quite a bit too on my lives and stuff is, just moving your body, playing music and dancing. I
Mhm.
mean, it just brings that playfulness. Doesn't music and dancing just bring that
Yeah.
playfulness?
I
I
love it.
love to dance.
Me too.
So, it's not something I'm going to go to competition with because I'm not, you know,
Yeah, me
I'm
either.
not one of those, but I can get out there and wiggle and have fun.
Mhm.
And so that's what and I think that we need to do that more. We need our kids and our grandkids need to see that we can be playful and have fun.
Isn't it so funny? You're making me laugh over here because I'm thinking about these things, and because right now I had surgery done, so I can't walk on my one foot. So I'm in this wheelchair, right? And I'm thinking to myself, like, I mean, you got to make this fun, right? Because so, like when the baby was over the other day, and I'm holding him, and he's 6 months and stuff, so, and he loves it because it's like he's being rocked in a stroller or out in the stroller because I put him in the wheelchair, but I've learned how to do things with the wheelchair. Like if I push off really fast, I can do donuts.
Yeah. So yeah.
I just have to be sort of creative, right, with your circumstance. It doesn't have to cost extra money, and it does, and it brings joy. And even my older kids are just like going, "Oh, there she goes again." So I'm making them laugh. I'm dying laughing. The baby's having a blast, and so yeah. I mean, there's so many things that we need to remember that not to be so damn serious all the flipping
I
time.
know. Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you know, yeah. Go ahead,
Uh,
honey.
Kids really need, I think we need it, our souls need it,
Mhm.
but the people around us need to see that too. And the smiles, people need to be able to see you smile and just enjoy life.
Absolutely. And it is, and especially now, with everything that's going on in the world, it's just like, we really do. We need to bring it to other people. And I've even put into my schedule, and I know you probably have too, is to even try to get a hold of somebody and actually talk to them on the phone. Pick up the phone and actually talk instead of the old texting and all that kind of stuff, and just, getting that relationship going again. And another thing too, when you do that, you're building relationships too. And especially with you being, with your company and everything and the business you do. And it's just nice to actually talk to somebody for a change instead of
Hmm.
sending that text message. And I know you do it. And because
Hmm.
I know we talk, quite a bit, especially once the kids are down, at night. And well, I'm an empty nester now. I don't have anybody at home anymore. Um, and I thought that it was going to be, and it was a weird transition, but I like the transition now because I even appreciate when the kids bring the children and the grandchildren, come over. I even appreciate them more now
Hmm.
than before. It'd be just like, you're just so tired and sometimes, just thinking like, oh man, I don't know if I can do this type of a deal because they have a lot of energy. I know a
Hmm.
couple of mine that are younger. I mean, the older ones, they can pretty much occupy themselves, but the little ones, holy smolies. And, but we do a lot of that too. We do a lot of, they go swimming and we do the swimming and stuff like that. So, but I want you to also talk a little bit more about, I really enjoyed when you're saying about this block timing, like, um, I think it's important that I think sometimes people get a little like, oh my gosh, I can't live by a calendar, you know, um, or I'm not spending enough time with my family, or how can I do that? And I think it's important that people know that they can. And I love the way that you've explained it so far. Can you just talk just a little bit more about that to let people know exactly like what is all this black time? Like
Okay.
how do you do
So
that?
what's really cool about it is you can get on Google Calendar
Hmm.
and you can actually take and you can, I like colors, right? So you
Right.
can color code your calendar.
Hmm.
And I will have like from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. or actually it's like 6 to 7:30 I think is workout time.
Hmm.
And 7:30 to 8 is shower and breakfast, and then I get Kaya up for school, and then from 8 to actually I think it's 9 to 12 is my work. And I do have in there specifically what I do, the
Hmm.
task, my DMO, daily method of operation. And so I have that in there, what I'm going to do each hour. And that's really been helpful because I know that at this certain time I need to do prep for, my Facebook Live. And then that this time I'm going to do my Facebook Live, right? And
Hmm.
so for those of you that are, work online, you know what I'm talking about. But then at from 12 to 1, I have blocked out for lunch with my husband. And, Kaya too, but I mean, my husband comes home from work and I make him lunch, and we have that hour where we can visit. And there's days where my day may be a little bit crazier, and he respects that, so he'll come home and eat, and it maybe just be we have to cut it short. And it goes vice versa because sometimes he's got to get back to work early. And then from 1 to 3, I have the things I do, and Kaya's done it from school at 3:30. But the one thing that I balked off from mine that has been so important is from 5:30 to 8:30 is family time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there are times I have things I've got to do during that time that get put in there that are work related.
Mm-hmm.
But my husband comes home about 5:30, and I want my relationship with him is very important, and so I just want to make sure that when he walks in that door and he sits down, I can just be focused on his day, what's gone on with him, and of course he wants to know how my day went, so we talk about that, dinner or whatever we've got going on. Kaya has, her gymnastics. She's got her group she goes with, once a week, so we go do that, and it's just that time. And then at 8:30 I sit back down and I do the rest of the tasks I need to do, and then so I do work at night before I go to bed,
Mm-hmm.
because right now I'm in the building place of my business, so I want to make sure that I'm taking the time for that. But that's how my block scheduling looks like. And it's really being mindful and
Mm-hmm.
being aware of what the needs of my family are. And weekends do look a little bit different because, say, like this weekend I'm going to have 4 of my grandkids, and it'll be age 18 months, and then Peyton is 9. And so you know Saturday I honestly, when they're here, I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sitting in front of my computer, or AJ won't even let me really look at my phone. If he sees me even pick up my
He
phone,
wants
he
to
thinks
phone
it's time to play with it,
it.
himself. So, which is totally fine. But, and I've always taken care of him. Recently, things have turned around where AJ, is going to be staying with his other grandma more, and so it's kind of opened things up for me work wise. But what I do love about that is, say, like, I know I'm going to have them this weekend. And so I already will mark that off on my calendar. I know ahead of time. Now, I'm not real pleased when the kids want to call me the day before, unless it's important,
Mm-hmm.
and they say, "Can you babysit tomorrow?" And, I'm like, and that happened this week. And it's like, I have all these appointments. I can't you know and so, and it's really training your family. Like I said, you've got to train your family into this block scheduling you have. When you work from home, it tends to be that your family thinks that you're not really working because you're not going to a job.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And I think that just helps create too and a structure for yourself where
Hmm.
you know that you can switch those block times around if you need to. And then just like I said with the family. And then the point that you made that I really think is so important, and I just started this myself like a little over a year ago, is when the children do come and I have that their time is blocked, I don't do anything else. I try to stay off. I mean, I'll answer a phone call if I have to, or, but I try to stay off the phone as much as I possibly can because I really want to engage with them. And I know that the kids sometimes they're on their phones, but I usually try to do something like, oh, let's get lunch, or anything just to get them away from that, because I think the phones are so dang addicting sometimes that they just need to set those down. But I know, like, when we have family gatherings and stuff, most of the time nobody is, they stay completely off their phones. But my point was is that I do think it's important that you take that time then and you do generally engage with your family and you give them your attention that they need. Yeah.
The girls have gotten to where they
Mm-hmm.
like to play card games, so we'll play Uno, or we'll do something like that when they come
Mm-hmm.
over. And we'll go to the park. I mean, there's just things that we try and do to keep them off of, they don't have phones, but they have iPods, which basically the same thing, right? But yeah, so that is, yeah, it's important, I think, to get them to really engage and be spending that time. And so,
I just loved our time together, and man,
I
that
do.
went by so fast. But before we end here, I would love for you to go ahead and give our audience how to get in contact with you. And if
Okay.
you do that, and it will also be in the show notes too, in case they don't catch something, it'll
Okay.
be with
Okay.
that.
You can reach out to me through my email, and that is jackie.payne@ymail.com, and it's JACQUE.PAYNE at, and it's Y, the letter Y, mail.com. I do want to say it's not Gmail because people get that confused. And then also you can reach out to me on Facebook through my profile, Jacque Payne. And, I'd love for you if would like to check out the Healthy Confidence Club group, come over there and just see what we're doing over there. We're just having fun.
Mhm.
And yeah.
Okay, and did you want to do your phone number too for texting, or do you want
Oh,
that?
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you wrote
My
that in the notes. Okay. All right.
my number is 505-486-3005.
All right. That sounds
So,
absolutely wonderful. Well, thank you so, so much, Jackie, for coming on today. And like I said, this is our new podcast, Seriously Uncork Yourself. And I know I'm going to have Jackie back again because this was just wonderful. I loved all the great information that you gave everybody today and useful information. So I want to thank you again so, so much. And I love you.
well, thank you, Lynn, for having me. I really appreciate it. This has been fun. So, and I look forward to watching your podcast grow and getting it out there. I'm just excited. It'll
Thank
be
you.
fun.
Thank you so much. All righty. Bye-bye, you guys.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning into the show. I hope this brought out your passions, ignited you, and inspired you to restart and reclaim your life. Please subscribe to my podcast and feel free to leave a rating and a review. Until the next episode of Seriously Uncork Yourself, you can check out more information at lynnkuhn.com. That's Lynn, Lynn, Kuhn, Kuhn.com. Be sure to tune in for my next episode. Sending you all peace and love until our next time together. Seriously Uncork Yourself.